Hey guys, it's Zoidberg747. Um, I'm gonna start commentating these Baraka videos. This one is a certain guide to rushing and a couple other things. But anyway, this is about 10 minutes of me just showing some stuff and talking about some things. So first, I'm trying to demonstrate how blade charging up close is unsafe and how blade charging from this distance is a lot more safe. It's a lot safer. Now, I would say Blade Charge is one of Baraka's best tools, probably. Um, it counters a lot of things. His EX Blade Charge, thanks to the patch, goes full screen, like shown there. I mean, I'm sure most of you know this, but it can go through subs, ice clones, pretty much every projectile in the game. There might be a couple, but for the most part, it goes through them all. So like you have to remember where it's safe and when to use it. You don't really want to use it when you're really up close to someone because that leaves a bigger window for punishing. And so here I'm going to try and show a couple examples of when to use EX Blade Charge. This wasn't very organized, by the way. This was sort of me just sort of getting all my thoughts out there. You see how it goes through ice clones if he tries an ice clone. This is why, especially in the Sub-Zero matchup, you've got to save your meter. I have been told that it is in Baraka's favor. I still don't believe that, but if anything, you have to save your meter for EX Blade Charge. I mean, that is a huge part of his game against Sub-Zero. So here I'm sort of explaining my jump-ins. Now, what I like to do on my jump-ins, what I've just found works really well, is whiffing the kick and then doing a low poke. Now, this is his D1, and it is a really good low poke. I mean, it can get you out of frame traps, it can get you out of pressure. It's very, very useful, and I use it mainly when I'm getting frame trapped by JC. I'd say that's when I use it the most. And his D4 is pretty much like Molina's. I wouldn't say is good. I don't think it has as much of a reach and lowers the hitbox as much, but I still say it's pretty good. And so basically, as you can see here, I whiff the kick and go into a low poke. I failed a couple times there. The reason I like to do this is because once you go for that jump in, they're going to try and punish you. And if you can get into your crouched position with D4, it lowers your hitbox significantly. And sometimes it lowers it enough to where they won't punish you and you get a free low poke in there. And you can low poke into more pressure and keep wailing on them. So I kind of have to comment based on what I was doing. Here I'm going over the reset. Now the reset is F+4. And I suggest most of the time you end your combos with F+4. Because it basically gets them into more pressure and you can keep piling on pressure, and it's just a really useful tool. Now, for instance, here, I think it takes me a while to get it. Basically, after you do a launcher, you can just reset and to go into another launcher, frame trap, whatever. So here I'm gonna show 2-2 1+2, and basically after the 2-2 1+2, they're left neutral on block. And when you mix that with the reset, it's pretty much a frame trap. I mean, it's one of his best tools if you can pull it off. I don't usually pull it off online, but it's online. I mean, it's really, really good. And as you can see here, I mean, because once you reset, and you just immediately dash back into the 2 1 2 plus 2 2 1+2. Sorry. You can just keep putting on the pressure. And usually I can do it. Tonight I don't know what I was doing. I needed to turn the wake up off. Yeah, this wasn't really a professional video, so to speak. Sorry, but hopefully it's still pretty useful. So, I mean, those are the frame traps. I would suggest learning them for sure. And also, like in your corner combos, I'm about to get them there. I always end with resets on either that or double spin, but usually I end with resets because that just gets them into more pressure, and then you can just once you pile on all that pressure. If you're facing a good opponent, yeah, they're gonna get out of it most likely. But if you're facing some bad opponent, as opposed to doing double spin, you can reset them for added damage, and eventually, I mean, the game will go by pretty quickly. And there's some examples of the frame trap again. So one of his tools, now it's really not a rushing technique necessarily, but his 7-frame spin. Now what his 7-frame spin basically is 7 frames, which means it only takes 7 frames to execute the spin. Now this is really important because in my opinion it's his best anti-air. I mean, D1's pretty good, but his spin is really, really good, and you can also pull it off online, too. Not consistently, but, you know, it's online, so it's also safe on block. And what I do to sometimes basically troll people, I show it here. I don't usually do it, though, is sort of rush at people, and then when they think I'm going to blade charge, spin. It'll catch noobs off guard, sure, but it's not going to catch good players. As you can see, it's pretty safe on block, and I mean it's definitely a good tool for anti-airing, and maybe if you're close, putting on a little pressure. I try and use it to stuff the wake-up game, but really with the new wake-up changes, it doesn't work, so I would suggest not doing that. Anticipate the wake-up in this new after this new patch. That is my advice. All right, so I don't know what I was doing here, but oh, okay, so after the patch, some people have been using B+3 into slices. Now, I don't know what I was doing here. I just screwed up so many times. But basically, instead of doing B+3 1, you can do B+3 slices. It makes the string safe on block, even though, unless they blocked low, unless they're fuzzy guarding, I mean, they've already been hit. But it'll take them by surprise. I mean, it's a lot faster. It's a good way to mix up. You don't get punished as badly. I mean, I just find slices an overall good tool. Again, it's not really gonna affect them if you do B+3 slices, but keep in mind slices does make almost any string safe. So that's a very good and useful tool. So here again, I think I'm showing the kick fake out. I was just sort of spouting all my thoughts. I'm going to make it more organized. What I think I'm going to start doing is start recording some online matches that are not so laggy that I can at least perform well in and do what I need to do for certain matchups, to show some matchups, my opinions on those. So what I'm going over next is my baiting technique, which is up +3. So against characters like Noob Saibot, for example, is what I use it the most. If they don't know the Baraka matchup very well, and you do up +3, it can catch them off guard. It can look like a jump in. I apologize for the break in the commentary there, little technical difficulties. So, as I was saying, if you up +3 and pretend like you're jumping in, a lot of times Noob Saibots or anyone with a teleport will teleport, and you can either punish that with spin, if it's like an instant teleport like Raiden's, or you can have a free combo like on Noob Saibot, which is what I use against him. So yeah, that's a use for up 3. It's also pretty good in corner combos if you use it correctly.